The LEGO Star Wars Ultimate Collector Series Jabba's Sail Barge is this year's flagship product of the theme, no pun intended, kindly sent to me by LEGO for this review. My first impression when holding the box was the fact that it felt small, and don't get me wrong, the box is by no means small, it just doesn't feel big enough for the price tag. 25th anniversary branding with that logo and bottom frame, and when opening the box, as is usually the case with these types of Star Wars models, we can find movie stills of the vessel and Jabba the Hutt on the flaps. Inside, the inner boxes also have movie shots of Max Rebo and Salacious Crumb, two of the actual minifigures featured in the set. Each of the boxes has its own building instructions, with the first one having the usual spreads about the model, and I was happy to see my good friend Cesar being the lead designer on this thing. Onto the minifigures, we have 11 in total, which totally feels like a reasonable number for the size of the set. There's two stands to display them all, with this odd-shaped one for Jabba, including the printed info plaque with the sail barge details, the special 25th anniversary brick we've seen in some sets throughout the year, and Jabba's minifigure, a two-piece mold that came with the arms pre-attached, with this whole section allowing for some poses and movement, and plenty of printed details going on. After more than 10 years, Slave Leia is back with dual molded legs for the skirt, and a brand new hairpiece that looks amazing. C-3PO, on the other hand, feels like a downgrade from previous near-perfect versions of the minifigure, like the one from the UCS Land Speeder, since the legs lack the same amount of detail. And there's R2-D2 with the tray, with a chocolate-filled cup element I hadn't seen before in that color. Bib Fortuna and the Gamorrean Guard are two other characters commonly seen in this setting. Max Rebo makes a comeback, but I'm having a really hard time telling if this is new or not, since it looks exactly like the old one I still have sealed, and Salacious Crumb is an updated minifigure that looks amazing and menacing. Just look at those devilish eyes, right? Perfect. And then there's three lesser known characters, Kitaba, Vizam, and Woof. Overall, the selection of characters feels really good. There's a fair amount of detail, reappearances, and updates, so minifigure collectors will be happy with this. As for the sail barge itself, seeing the model in person is really impressive. As I was building the base, the realization of how long it would become in the end was a bit shocking, to be honest. But I guess that's to be expected from these kinds of price points. The one thing I'll point straight away is that the fact that the surface is mostly studded is a bit of a letdown. We've seen plenty of flawless style designs before, and I understand that that would be difficult to pull out here due to the angled sections the vehicle has, but still had to mention it. But speaking of those particular angled sections, the front was very impressive to see coming together. The way these panels sit at an angle with the use of ball joint connections underneath was cool to put together, and the same can be said about the back of the vessel. There's these side wings, so to speak, that can be adjusted, and above them the barge's windows that can be opened the same way we see in Return of the Jedi. The model actually features stands, which I believe are only there for you to be able to move the model around like so, as recommended in the building instructions, otherwise there would be no obvious grabbing points to do it. On the deck, we cannot miss the large sails that are sitting on ball joint connections and do look amazing. They feel way too close to the deck, so an extra connector could be in order. Because as it is, there's hardly any space to handle minifigures here, reason why I'll remove them for a better view at this space. There's a fair amount of detail, I think, some doors and access points to the barge's interior, different levels with small stairs to go up and down, and the main turret that spins in place, tilts up and down, and has just enough studs for us to place Leia to recreate the vessel's destruction. A lot of brown hose elements were used for the railings, which works really well in my eyes, and there's even two of these small turrets attached to them. Now, as you would expect, the large size of the model offers a full interior, and to better access it, the sail barge has these side panels that tilt down. And while on the right side of it all there's not a whole lot to be seen, the left side will show us all of the interior scenes much better. And I like how in these larger panels there's these rods that go into these rubbery LEGO Technic elements to keep both the panels in place and the deck above locked. These stairs lead directly to the access points above, which is cool, but as it stands visibility isn't great. That can be improved though by removing the decks that come off into different sections, and these stairs leading up were also made in such a way that you're meant to remove them to better see the details. At the front there's the sail barge control room with seats for two and a mix of printed tiles and stickers on the screens there. Behind the chairs there's a sliding door that leads to the armory and a small prison cell that can be removed like these, or accessed from the opposite side of the barge by opening this wall section. Then there's a kitchen that looks as good as the ones from modular buildings, such is the level of detail, and I like how there seems to be two recipes on the wall there. The fourth room is Jabba's one, with a stud right there in the middle to place him. There's this chest with Leia's chain inside, and all the way back here Max Rebo's keyboard instrument. No complaints from me on the choice of rooms and settings here. I think it perfectly captures what the sail barge is all about, and that's good. I'm quite happy with the choice of the sail barge as a new CES set. It's a good break from all of the boring and overused grey spaceships, so it seems fitting for this. I also really like the fact that the overall shaping of the vessel, even though big in length, isn't that deep or featuring awkward shapes, which makes it a far better display model than most of the other UCS sets that more often than not will require you to buy new furniture to display them. As it stands, the UCS sail barge will fit most bookshelves you already have at home. However, the one thing that completely puts me off about the model is, as you're probably guessing, the price. I know this is Disney and Star Wars we're talking about, there's no way around it, but a price of $500 for a 4,000 piece LEGO set is simply too much to ask for. Sure, there's lots of minifigures and exclusive ones at that, there's very expensive to produce pieces in there like these sails, info plaque or hoses, but a $100 markup for a LEGO set that would have been near perfect if it were priced at $400 is honestly a bit sad to see. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.